Okay, so good evening, everyone. My name is DeAndrea Carter, and I serve as one of the social justice and advocacy interns for the fall 2023 semester. And welcome to our town hall, Reducing Mental Health Stigma in Academia. So I would like for each intern to introduce themselves. So again, everyone, my name is DeAndrea Carter. My pronouns are she, her, and I am currently a student at Howard University studying psychology and sociology.
And hello, everyone. My name is Maya Arrington. I'm currently in grad school to receive my master's in public health. I also received my bachelor's at Christopher Newport University, majoring in psychology, and I have a minor in leadership studies.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sarah Doshi. I'm an undergraduate student at New York University studying international relations and public policy.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Natalie Bruckert. I'm currently a sophomore at Boston College studying political science and communications.
And so now I would like to introduce our guest speaker for the evening, Miss Sonia Roberts. So Sonia Roberts has worked as a mental health professional for over 26 years. Miss Roberts began her journey into the world of mental health by earning her bachelor's degree in psychology from the University of North Florida. Post-graduation, she took up a career as a case manager for the Florida Department of Children and Families, and upon her departure from DCF, Ms. Roberts worked as an adjunct professor for several colleges in the city of Jacksonville. During this time, she studied to earn her Master's of Science in Mental Health Counseling from Nova Southeastern University, and with this degree, she has earned experience with Hubbard House Incorporated, Biofeedback and Stress Management Associates, and currently operates her own counseling center in her native city of Jacksonville, Roberts Counseling Center, LLC. We are thankful to have Ms. Roberts as our guest speaker tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you. And so here's just a table of contents of the presentation we will be giving this evening. First, we will give some background on what mental health is and what also is mental health stigma. Then we will give some social determinants that contribute to mental health stigma. Third is a resource guide, and then we will move into the speaker presentation portion, followed by a question and answer.
Okay, so right now we're going to take a look at some background information. Next slide, please. So when looking at mental health is more than just a buzzword. Mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects how we think, feel, and act. And it also helps determine how we handle stress, relate to others, and make healthy choices. Mental health is important at every stage of life, from childhood and adolescence, even through adulthood. So now looking at mental health stigma. Next slide, please. So stigma is when someone views you in a negative way because you have distinguishing characteristics or personality traits that are thought to be or actually is a disadvantage. Unfortunately, negative attitudes and beliefs towards people who have a mental health condition are quite common. And stigma can even lead to discrimination. Discrimination may be obvious, indirect, such as someone making a negative remark about your mental illness or your treatment, or it may be unintentional or subtle, such as someone avoiding you because the person assumes you could be unstable, violent, or dangerous due to your mental illness. And you might even judge yourself. So next slide, please. There's also different types of stigma. There's public stigma, and public stigma includes stereotypes and discrimination held by the general population. People can adopt public stigma and develop negative beliefs even before they develop a mental illness. There's also self-stigma, which happens when someone with a mental illness applies negative public views to themselves. And the negative attitudes can include internalized shame about their own condition. And then lastly, there's a type of stigma that's systematic, that arises from corporations, governments, and other institutions. So people might have one of these stigmas, or they may experience a combination of all three. Next slide, please. So some causes of mental health stigma: there could be just a lack of awareness about mental health. There's also media portrayal, what you're seeing on social media, what you're watching on television. And then there's also a lack of empathy that can contribute to mental health stigma. There's cultural and social beliefs and fear of prejudice. And like mentioned before, self-stigma can also contribute to your perception of mental health. Next slide, please. And now I'm going to pass this over to my fellow intern, Sarah.
So just to give some background information on Duval County, here are some statistics regarding the demographics of students both in high school and university. So here's a graph of Duval County's public school demographics. The student body at these schools are 32.2% white, 42.6% Black, 4.5% Asian or Asian/Pacific Islander, 14.8% Hispanic/Latino, 0.4% American Indian or Alaska Native, and 0.3% Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islander. In addition, 5.2% of students are of two or more races. Also, 49% of students are female and 51% are male. So next slide, please. Consequently, the student population of Duval County in universities are predominantly women. Most students graduating from universities in Duval County are white, with the percentage of 52.2%, followed by Black or African American at 23%, Hispanic or Latino at 12.4%, and Asian at 4.11%. There are so many racial disparities in access to healthcare in the United States. Socioeconomic, religious, ethnic, sexual orientation, and many other identity groups who are marginalized do not receive the same level of access to mental health care because of the structural inequalities in the US. Not only is this reality a contributing factor to minorities receiving mental health services, but there are gaps in access to mental health resources as a result of social stigma. The stigma around mental illness exists in every community, and this ignorance and prejudice are harmful to students as they deserve to feel free to receive any mental health services they desire. Now I will pass it off to Natalie, who will go more into depth about the social determinants of youth mental health.
Thank you so much. So now that we've talked about what mental health stigma is, I'm going to cover more about how mental health illnesses accumulate from the atmosphere a person's from. So to begin, social determinants of health can be defined as conditions in an environment which affect a wide range of health, functioning, and quality of life outcomes and risks. These determinants include where a person lives, such as their neighborhood or social community, where they learn, specifically their access to quality education, and where they work. While there are a plethora of different social determinants for youth mental health, there are 4 in specific that are especially important to pay attention to. The first is racism. Studies have found that there's a direct correlation between experiencing discrimination and developing mental health problems later on in life. For example, a study conducted by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services found that among Asian American college students, when subjects experienced microaggressions or mistreatments, they had lower sleep quality and lower energy levels during the day, showing that direct, immediate effect of racism on an individual's mental health. For pollution, pollutants include carbon monoxide, lead, and particulate matter, which directly impacts both the physical and mental health of residents. The American Psychiatric Association actually found that poor air quality during the early years of an individual's life increases that individual's risk of developing psychiatric disorders, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, personality disorder, and major depression. And while this is harmful for all, because young people are still in those critical formative stages of their brain development, it's especially important to protect the youth from exposure to pollutants in the air. Thirdly is access to healthy food, which is actually a twofold social determinant. The first is many families who face food insecurity have to make a trade-off decision between paying housing bills and other necessities or buying healthy groceries, which is overwhelmingly stressful, and much of that stress trickles down into the children. And secondly, a lack of access to healthy food naturally leads individuals forced to make unhealthy food decisions, and having an unhealthy diet increases risks for anxiety and depression. And fourthly is youth incarceration, which is accelerated by the school to prison pipeline. The school to prison pipeline is defined as exclusionary discipline techniques which push students out of the classrooms and into a higher likelihood of entering the youth juvenile justice system. And then to just expand upon that last point, the impact of incarceration on mental health is staggering. A study conducted by the University of Los Angeles found a direct correlation between incarceration and mental health issues. For example, those incarcerated between the ages of 7 to 13 had a 40% chance of experiencing depression, and 27% of them had adult suicidality, which just goes to further showcase the importance of protecting youth from falling into this pipeline.
At this point in time, we just want to share some resources with you all that you can use if you are an adolescent or a college student in Duval County. So first and foremost, we want to present full service schools. So full service schools are a collaboration between DCPS and United Way of Northeast Florida, and they offer a critical range of therapeutic, health, and social services to DCPS students. These include, but are not limited to, individual and family counseling, parenting help, mentoring, sexual health resources such as contraceptives and birth control. So how can you access these full service schools? If you scan this QR code here, it will show you what is the full service school closest to you, because they are not at every school in Duval County, but every school has an assigned location. So let's say you go to Kernan Middle, you may be sent to Sandalwood High School to receive your services. Here's also the contact information for Katrina Taylor, who is the DCPS coordinator, and Keto Porter, who is the United Ways director. I'll give everybody some time to scan that QR code. Okay. And then what are the services at the full service school like? We want to express that they are free. So they are free of service. They are of no charge to the student or their parent. They are confidential, just as any therapist you would see using insurance. The therapist that you would see using the full service school is confidential unless there is a safety risk. This is self-guided, so you let the social worker at your school know what services you feel like you need, and they work with you to create a comprehensive plan. And therapy services offered through the FSS is usually 6 months. Some national resources. So there are a few hotlines you can call if you are feeling that you need some assistance. First is the crisis text line, found at 741-741. Then we also have the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, which can be found at 800-662-4357. And then the National Suicide Hotline, you can call or text at 988. Just to be clear, hotlines are a communication channel dedicated to offering assistance to people who are experiencing mental health issues. Here are some questions you can ask yourself if you're wondering, should I call this hotline or not? The first question is, do you have overwhelming feelings and feel that you have no one to talk to? If the answer is yes, you should definitely contact one of these hotlines. Are you feeling hopeless or in need of some direction? If the answer is yes, definitely contact one of these hotlines. Are you having any thoughts of self-harm? If the answer is yes, again, definitely consider contacting one of these hotlines. There's also the internet. We understand that the internet is a huge resource in this day and age. So some reliable sources on the internet can be the American Psychological Association, which can be found at apa.org. There's also the Association of Black Psychologists, which can be found at absci.org. And then there's the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, which can be found at samhsa.gov. And we want to be clear that when you are looking on the internet for resources, it is important to be careful about what resources you access. So if you're looking for something reliable, make sure to look for a website that ends in .org, .edu, .gov, .net, things like this. There are also local nonprofits in your area that will offer some mental health information and resources. When thinking of things to avoid, we want you to avoid websites like Wikipedia, Reddit, and Quora because the resources found on this website may not be verified by a reputable individual. So now we will move into the speaker presentation portion, and we welcome again Miss Sonia Roberts.
All righty, my turn already. So, a very good friend of mine walked me through sharing the screen.
Okay,
Okay. So, there we go. Am I sharing that? Wait a minute. Okay, let me start over. Okay, there we go. Mm. Okay. All right, one last try. Why am I not able to do this?
You were sharing your screen before. I just don't know.
I don't know what I did.
Yeah, it was showing your screen, and then you
Okay.
exited out. So maybe just make sure you hit desktop so it can show, everything. When you press share screen. Oh, here we go. There we go. Perfect.
That's not it. Okay. Let me start fresh. And we just
if you'd
walked
like,
through this.
you can email it over to me, and then I
That's what I
will
was
share my
thinking.
screen.
That is what I was thinking may be the best option. Okay. All righty. Just give me a moment. And my very, very dear friend walked me through this, and I had it at the time active. Many people were being impacted to the extent that things changed significantly, and mental health went through a boom in terms of people seeking mental health treatment. And for that reason, there were many practices that grew and flourished, and some of them experienced growth at a rate that they almost couldn't keep up with. And that's when we saw a big increase in telehealth, and insurances formerly didn't support the idea of telehealth, but because of the quarantine, the value in telehealth and the ability to access individuals who maybe didn't have transportation, or because of certain disabilities or certain phobias could not leave the home. That market became available, and telehealth and telemedicine became something that was accessible to everyone. And mental health became a field that was more expansive and became available to everybody. Next slide, please. So, barriers to mental health treatment. We've talked about stigmas and basically how they're rooted in ignorance, prejudice, and discrimination. And it is a combination of those things. Cultural beliefs have a tendency to impact mental health treatment as well. And in many minority communities, it's something that is considered a luxury. Or in certain minority communities, mental health is something that white people deal with. And it's not something that the average population experiences. And in many minority communities, the idea of what happens at home stays at home keeps people from those communities from seeking mental health treatment. Also, there are some communities that, for religious reasons, they don't believe in seeking mental health. They believe that prayer fixes everything and that God solves all problems, and that going to therapy is a worldly pursuit. So you don't take your troubles to a stranger, you take your troubles to God. So those are the things in certain communities that prevent people from seeking mental health treatment. Next slide, please. So, misconceptions. That is a view or an opinion that is incorrect because it's based on faulty thinking or understanding. Next slide, please. Fact or fiction? 75% of mental health conditions do not surface until after age 18. Fact or fiction? Let's see. Let's answer in the chat. Oh, you all are doing very well. Oh, I love this. Okay, you all got it right again. Next slide, please. That is fiction. At least 50% of mental health conditions surface in adolescence. Age 14, by the age of 14. So next slide, please. Common misconceptions. Poor mental health is not a big issue for teenagers. They just have mood swings and it's hormonal. The idea of teen angst that was prevalent in certain movies. There was a certain time frame that was the genre, the teen angst genre. And that sort of prevailed, and not understanding that there are 14% of adolescents experience mental health issues. And among those, age 10 to 15, suicide is the fifth most prevalent cause of death of those age 15 to 19. And it's the fourth most common cause for that age group. So, another misconception: bad parenting is the blame for mental health issues in adolescence. So, the age old thing, it's always the mom's fault. It's always the parents' fault if the little one is bad, it's because of a lack of discipline. There's poor parenting. The children are spoiled. They've been too indulged. And that is another myth. That is another common misconception. And adolescents from loving and supportive homes experience mental health issues just as well as adolescents from dysfunctional backgrounds. So, caregivers may need support to maintain an environment for healthy development. So, that is something that we do also have to be mindful of. We talk about youth and mental health and things like that, but we also have to be mindful that the caregivers also have to have good mental hygiene in order to create a healthy environment for our youth so that our youth can have good mental health as well. Next slide, please. Another misconception. Adolescents who get good grades and have a lot of friends don't have mental health conditions because they have nothing to be depressed about. So that is the thing. And I hear it often. So, my daughter or my son, they get good grades, they have lots of friends, how can my child be depressed? And for whatever reason, we think if those outside markers are met, that there's nothing going wrong, without the understanding that in many cases, if a young person feels that there's nothing else within their control, they can control their grades, they can control their academic performance. So that's something where they can excel. So achievement feels good. So if depression is an issue, oftentimes a child will excel academically in the face of depression because that's one of the ways that they cope with the depressive symptoms that they're feeling in their depressed mood. So anxiety is also something that is prevalent for high achievers because they have the pressure to succeed. And that creates performance anxiety, and it creates challenges for them at school and at home. Another misconception, you only need to take care of your mental health if you have a mental health condition. So, as opposed to understanding that mental health is something that you maintain all along, you don't have to have a mental health issue in order to be mindful that maintaining mental health is important. So, everyone benefits from taking active steps to promote their well-being and improve their mental health. It's just like making sure that you take care of your physical health proactively. You proactively take care of your mental health as well. Next slide. Serious mental health problems are obvious. That is a misconception that is commonly held. You can see when a person is having issues, or I know my child, I know when there's something wrong with my child. If there was a problem, I would know it. And that is a common misconception that leaves children not being cared for. The obvious things, as the slide indicates, suspicious cuts and marks that may indicate self-harm, that's the obvious stuff. But there are other mental health problems that are less readily visible, like depression or the anxiety that high achievers feel. Another misconception, youth with mental health issues are violent. Many people are quick to blame mental health when violence occurs. That's the go-to. If someone acts out, someone misbehaves, someone behaves violently, the automatic assumption is that they have a mental health issue. So, assuming that all individuals with mental health problems are dangerous is one of one of the most dangerous misconceptions, because it colors how that person is dealt with and how that person is managed. Um, there was an incident in our neighborhood years ago. I will never forget it. There was a young man walking in the neighborhood, and he had a sword. I get it. It was a sword. But he was swinging the sword, and he looked to be about 20 to 25. And I initially was concerned. I will say that. But as I was driving by and when I looked at him, the expression on his face, he looked like a child. So it was the giddiness of a kid. And my thought was, oh, okay. So he's not um, an adult per se. So I knew that there were likely some cognitive issues. And I went ahead to work. I was an adjunct professor at the time. And I mentioned the incident to my class. And class ends, the next class starts, and interrupted one of the students from my first class interrupted the second class, and she said that I needed to turn on the news. And there was a story of a young man in the neighborhood that I lived in that was seen with a sword, and the police had fired. And the young man was now deceased. The issue with that situation was the um, the young man had a mental illness, and at the time, his parents spoke about it, and they said that he had the mental capacity of, if my memory serves me correctly, an 8-year-old. So he wasn't aware that there was danger in that situation, because to him, he was just a child. And that was one of the examples that I think about often, when it just would have taken some investigating just to approach him, not with thinking that he's dangerous, but to see cognitively what is this person thinking about, because he was acting like a kid, happy go lucky. And but because he had the appearance of someone that may have been mentally unstable, he had the combat boots, the long black jacket, the long hair, the goth looking makeup. um he wasn't given the opportunity to be questioned. He automatically was assumed to be dangerous. And that's how sometimes a misconception can be mortally dangerous. So it's important that we understand the difference between the stigmas and the misconceptions, and what's fact, what's fiction, and what's a misconception, and what's truth. Next slide, please. Youth with mental health issues need to be medicated. There are multiple ways that mental health conditions can be dealt with. There are lifestyle changes, talk therapy, um, stress management. There's other holistic methods there's a multitude of ways to deal with mental health issues other than medications. So, what are some activities a teen with moderate depression can do to find some relief? So, what are some thoughts? Respond in the chat. What are some thoughts that you think a teen can do? Journaling, absolutely. What else? Painting, that is an awesome one as well. Mindfulness meditation, wonderful. Wonderful. So it seems to me that you all have already been studying this topic. You have some excellent answers. Excellent answers. Okay, next slide. All righty. Now we get to the good stuff. Common negative vocabulary to describe mental health issues. Looking at this list, pick out some of the ones and respond in the chat that you've heard before, or if we are in the spirit of transparency tonight, some of them that you may have used yourself. I see the chat is silent now. Oh, yeah, touched. That's an old one. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Delulu. Yep. These are all things that we've heard before and people use now. Yep. These are all common, very common. Oh, okay. Next slide, please. Okay, these are some ways to combat stigmas without a therapist. You can use apps, read, podcasts, exercise, hobbies, some of the things that we talked about. Next slide, please. All righty. So I do have one more thing that I wanted to add. There are things that we do in the therapeutic environment when we have clients that are embarrassed or they've been subject to some of those cultural types of things where they have certain thoughts about having mental health issues. And in the therapy room, I tend to do things such as practice unconditional positive regard so that the client knows that they are accepted, they are important, and they are accepted for who they are. And there's no judgment. There's no, I do my best to make sure that they don't feel uncomfortable so that they feel free to share what's really on their mind and they feel okay to be transparent with what's happening and what's going on with them internally and sometimes with what's happening in the household. So I do practice unconditional positive regard. I also practice validation. because oftentimes when people go through certain things, especially with clients that have issues where their mental health sometimes finds them having issues with sort of determining what's real and what's not real. And they have issues with perception and things of that nature. I practice validation. So, and something that I think probably you may have heard just in common language, where people say your perception is your reality. I practice that in the therapy room as well. And it doesn't have to match my perception, but as long as my clients understand that their perception is their reality, and then we move forward based on their reality, it is empowering for the client, and it helps them to be more comfortable with their diagnosis, with the mental health symptoms that they're experiencing, so that we can create a foundation for me to be clear on the things that they need and what needs to what needs to be our therapeutic goals. And also in the therapy room, I don't um, I don't really work with diagnosis. I am not a diagnoses type of person. So because people have a tendency to Google, and they will look for all of the information that's relevant to the diagnosis that they've been told that they have. So instead of approaching mental health from a diagnosis perspective, I tend to approach it from a symptom perspective. So that way, the person doesn't have to process the stigma of any type of mental health diagnosis or what have you. Now, naturally, for insurance purposes, we do use diagnoses, but for the purpose of one-on-one working with the client, we deal with the symptoms, and we treat the symptoms as something that is separate from the client. So the client is their own individual person that is, once again, accepted completely. And the symptom is what we deal with. And I also practice normalization, which is the process of me just letting a client know that based on what you're experiencing, the response or the reaction that you have to it is something that is just typical. So if you typify what it is that they're experiencing, the client feels calmer and more comfortable with the symptoms that they're having. And it creates an environment where you have a client who's very comfortable expressing to you the thoughts that they have in their heads, the things that they struggle with in terms of impulses, impulsive natures, impulsive thoughts, and symptoms that they may find unpleasant or they're uncomfortable verbalizing. But if you create an environment where it's okay, because that symptom is over there and it's separate from you, and we deal with it, you know, from the outside, then it makes it easier for us to tackle that as a problem. So the client and I become a team, and we as a team deal with that problem over there because it's separate from the client. So, any questions?
Okay, thank you, Ms. Roberts, for sharing all of your wonderful information with us. At this point in time, we will move on to the moderated questions point of the evening, where the interns are allowed to ask you questions. I would just like to start off with the question of, you spoke a lot about creating a positive environment for those who are experiencing mental health issues. So what is some of the positive vocabulary that we could use when speaking to those individuals? Because I know we covered some of the negative vocabulary that is often used.
Mhm. Well, most of the time when I discuss certain things with the client, I do not deal with diagnoses, we say, and I use the word symptoms so that we don't consider anything an illness. We don't consider anything as a dysfunction because it is a symptom. And I also make it a point to, um, in terms of like medication and things of that nature, if that's something that a client um, has to take, like the ones that I am working on a treatment team with a psychiatrist, the ones that find medication to be something that they struggle with, I usually just tell them, well, um, it's just like taking um, lisinopril for hypertension. So, because you have high blood pressure, you take this pill to treat the high blood pressure. Okay? That's a medical issue. So, you treat it medically. Your mental health is also a medical issue because it tends to be based on the serotonin reuptake and things of that nature. So it just so happens that because it's based on neurochemistry, your symptoms of your medical issue demonstrate in a behavioral manner. So, because it's a medical issue, we use pills to fix it. And then the therapy is the behavioral part of it. So, just like with high blood pressure, you take the pill and then you cut out sodium and you increase your cardio. That's the behavioral part of that medical issue. So, the behavioral part of your medical issue is you take the Prozac and then you go to therapy. That's the behavioral part of it. So that's how I just kind of normalize it and just make it, you know, a team thing that it's not a big deal. Take your medicine, do your therapy, do your homework, everything's fine.
Thank you so much. And at this point, I will pass it over to my fellow intern, Maya.
Yes. So my question is, what would you suggest people do to combat stigma and discrimination against people living with mental illness?
I think things like this, um, community engagement, um, making yourself aware and being vocal, volunteering, getting active in the community, making sure that um, you don't allow an educational opportunity to pass you by. Um, Being active with organizations that are volunteer based because people have a tendency to donate funds, which is completely awesome. Don't get me wrong. But we also need boots on the ground. So we need hands to do the work. And so it's always good to get involved.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
So the next question is, outside of the resources available at schools and universities, and I know you mentioned some online or like online options. Is community outreach surrounding mental health services accessible to students from different identity groups?
Not as much as it can be. There are some organizations like Jasmine that are for some of our lesser served groups, such as the LGBTQIA community. So no, there's not as much community representation. And what I have noticed, though, in clients coming into the office, that a lot of churches are now understanding that there is a difference between Christian or secular counseling. So you have the Christian counseling, and then you have the counseling that I do. And I've noticed that clients are coming in stating that they did a few sessions at church, and the counselor at church said that, they need to check with their insurance, or, you are in the community and things of that nature. So we're getting better, but there's room for improvement.
Thank you.
So I found it very interesting how you point out how high achievers or those that are like high functioning individuals also can be experiencing mental health issues. And I was just wondering what your advice would be for how to identify if our loved ones have mental health issues, even if they don't appear to have them.
That is really, really difficult, because the part of the problem is they're trying to make sure that no one knows. So I think the main thing would be to pay attention, to be mindful, to be watchful, to look for inconsistencies. For a person who is extremely organized, and then they have a chronically disorganized room. Things that don't match, inconsistencies, being withdrawn, sudden changes, or even or gradual changes in behavior that don't seem to be their usual way of relating to other people. So if a person who used to be outgoing becomes withdrawn, either suddenly or over time, or a person who's typically meticulous, and then they, become, they're in disarray, or they become disheveled in appearance, and things of that nature. And we have a question. How can we approach faith-based institutions to help address the stigma of mental health? I think that is something that they're beginning to understand and realize. But the such as the church that I attend, Impact Church, they have a counseling ministry that is staffed with licensed therapists. So if you have that type of influence or interest at your place of worship, it's always an option to just approach your leadership and see if that's something that they're interested in offering.
All right, thank you so much. At this point in time, I would like to open the floor up to any more audience questions. Again, feel free to comment in the chat or even raise your hand. All right, if there are no more audience questions, then I would just like to say thank you to the audience for attending. Thank you to Jacksonville Urban League, all of our staff and donors
Okay,
for.
Andrea, it looks like we do have some extra questions.
Okay, so Jerry McMillan says, does all of this apply to adults?
That was my very good friend that walked me through the screen share. Jerry, I'm so sorry. I tried my best. Yes, yes. Most of this applies to adults as well.
Okay, and then we have Candace Roberts who asked, what advice would you have for college students who are pressed for time but looking for healthy outlets?
Well, I would suggest a comprehensive review of your schedule to see where you can create blocks of time. It doesn't have to be 30, 40 minutes. If you have 10, 15 minutes of time, that will be great. And you can work with some of the apps such as Breathe, Zen, Meditation, Headspace, and go through a 5 to 10 minute breathing exercise. And that would provide you with options to take just a quick moment to breathe. And also to take a realistic look at your schedule and see how you can incorporate your mental health into that schedule. Just like you make time to manage your physical health, figure out where can I incorporate time for mental health into that schedule.
That's good. And I'll just allow a couple more seconds just to see if anyone else has questions. All right. Well, again, thank you everyone in our audience for attending. Thank you to the Jacksonville Urban League Center for Advocacy and Social Justice for allowing this event to happen tonight. Thank you so much to our programming and internship coordinator, Raven Countryman, and of course, Mr. Dennis Stone, the director for the Center of Advocacy and Social Justice. And again, our wonderful speaker, Miss Sonia Roberts, for all of the information she offered us tonight. Just some nuggets I took from it. It's important to note that perception is reality. It's important to create a normal environment for mental health issues where people are able to speak openly. So thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me.
No problem.
Thank you all. Great session.